Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Look, today we're unpacking some seriously groundbreaking stuff from the book The Courage to be Disliked by Ichiroku Kishimi and Fumitaka Koga. And honestly, this material completely flipped my entire perspective on happiness. If you've ever felt stuck, stressed, or just weighed down by the expectations of others, you're definitely going to want to stick around because we're about to explore how to fundamentally change the way you look at your own life. Okay, so let's just jump right into this explosive hook. What if, and just hear me out on this, what if the unhappiness you're feeling right now is actually a strategic choice you're subconsciously making? It sounds wild, right? No way we choose that. But the source material argues that life only seems complex because, well, we make it so. If happiness is within our control, we are the ones choosing to be unhappy. The authors make this incredibly bold claim. They say that literally every single problem you face is inextricably linked to the outside world and the shadows of other people. There is no such thing as a worry that exists in a total vacuum. Other people are always in the picture, and your concern for their opinions, that's the very root of your unhappiness. Moving into section 1, goals drive your behavior. To really get this paradigm shift, we need to look at the psychology of Alfred Adler. Now, this concept completely shatters the popular societal myth that your past trauma dictates your present reality. Adlerian psychology proposes something called teleology. This is the mind-bending idea that your mind, body, and emotions all work together toward a common goal. Everything you think or feel isn't just some involuntary reaction to your past. Actually, scratch that. It's more like a tool. It's a tool you are actively using to achieve a future goal you've set for yourself. Let's actually look at this in action, because it's fascinating. Picture this. You really want a job, but you become paralyzingly anxious about the interview. Society tells us the anxiety is what prevents you from going, but Adler says, no. You don't fail the interview because you're anxious. You purposefully create that red-hot emotion of fear to achieve your true hidden goal, which is avoiding the interview entirely. You decide to avoid the risk of failure first, and then you manufacture the emotion to make it happen. So the absolutely crucial takeaway here is that no matter what has occurred in your past, you, living right here, right now, are the one determining your life based on the meaning you actively choose to assign to those experiences. We don't suffer from the shock of our trauma. Instead, we make out of it whatever suits our current purposes. Ultimately, you hold the pen to your own life. Section 2, the trap of approval. Let's see how this ties into the primary frustrating goal unhappy people set for their relationships. According to Kishimi and Koga, when you make gaining approval your main goal, which so many of us do, you're essentially handing over the keys to your happiness to everyone else. Just think about the heavy price of that validation. First off, you completely sacrifice your personal freedom. Then you end up living your life desperately trying to gauge other people's feelings, effectively throwing away your own values to adopt someone else's yardstick of what makes you a good person. The authors put it perfectly here. Living in a way that just grants others' wishes is a profoundly unfree way to live. I mean, what we gently call a desire for recognition is really just a crippling fear of being disliked. You simply cannot live your own life if you're constantly hitting the brakes on your freedom just to earn praise by someone else's standards. And you know what the worst part is? Approval is usually totally out of your control anyway because it depends on ever-changing expectations. When earning that approval inevitably becomes impossible, we don't just let go of the desire, oh no. Instead, we chase unattainable validation, give up when it gets too hard, and then adopt the limiting belief that we're just inherently flawed. We trap ourselves in this miserable red-hot zone of self-hatred just to justify giving up, avoiding the risk of ever trying and failing again. Which brings us to section 3, escaping the zero-sum game. Because this toxic need for validation doesn't just destroy your self-esteem, it completely dismantles your relationships. See, unhappy people view life as a ruthless competition. Because approval is conditional, maybe you're liked for being funny or being super successful, you obviously can't be perfect at everything. So when others succeed, the expectations rise, making it way harder for you to get your fix of approval. In this mindset, someone else's success literally equals your absolute failure, turning everyone around you into a hostile rival. This zero-sum game of external validation leads to a pretty dark place. In this constant state of competition, unhappy people will actually start celebrating the failures of others. Why? Simply because a rival's failure makes them look better by comparison. They literally fear the success of others, which makes genuine human connection entirely impossible. This mindset poisons absolutely everything. When your kindness is just, a manipulative tool to extract gratitude, you start acting entitled. The authors use this brilliant example. Imagine throwing a surprise birthday party for a friend. If you only do it expecting them to throw one for you later, you're going to feel profoundly wronged and resentful when they don't meet your unspoken expectations. You destroy the relationship from the inside out, all because your kindness came with strings attached. All right, section 4, the courage to be disliked. Let's finally dive into the solution and explore a radically alternative path to happiness. Here it is, the ultimate paradigm shift. Freedom is being disliked by others. It's a tough pill to swallow, but it is an absolute inevitability that some people will not like you, no matter what you do. Accepting that reality, without the fear and refusing to let it dictate your self-worth or your actions, is absolutely the only way to be truly free. Instead of frantically chasing validation, truly happy people shift their goal entirely. They focus on contributing to their community, and they do it purely because helping others brings them immense personal joy. They don't need anyone to pat them on the back. By finding their own internal joy in feeling useful, they develop unconditional self-acceptance, which finally allows them to genuinely celebrate when other people succeed. It's a total game changer. And this brings us to such a beautiful final realization. You don't need to achieve anything extraordinary or meet impossible societal standards. All humans have profound value simply by being present. Just by existing, you bring joy to others. You do not have to win a competition to earn your spot in the world. Embracing life as it comes, right here in the present moment, is where true fulfillment lives. So as we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to ask yourself a provocative question and just sit with it for a second. Are you ready to find the courage to be disliked? Decide today if you're finally going to release the need to be praised, step out of the endless competition, and choose to live a life that is completely, unabashedly yours. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive, and I really hope you found the courage you were looking for.